All right, this is part 3 of the Essentialism book. This one chapter is called Eliminate. So we went through this with the book club. It's a really good book. The whole book overall is pretty good. I find the first, so it's broken into 4 parts. I find the first part of it to be the most valuable so far for myself. The second 2 parts have been probably things I do really well in my life, so I haven't found them as valuable. But the cool part about the book club itself, in a book club, is like having conversations with other people and starting to see how they put these in their life. And today's was like a lot more impactful for me for the eliminate category. Because I actually think I do a really good job of eliminating stuff. But when I started hearing other people talk about theirs, how they kind of took it, it gave me a different perspective of different things I need to concentrate on in my life and areas I need to continue to get better and better and areas we need to get stronger and stronger at in our mastermind. So let's go through the questions that we went through today. So first one is clarify. What if you regularly took the time to clarify your purpose, values, and goals, ensuring that our actions are aligned with what truly matters to us? So like in the book club today, we talked about how your values, it's like this big picture thing. Sometimes you get out there and you get all these like fancy words together, you get your vision put together, you get all this kind of stuff, and then you forget about it, right? So a business coach is like, hey, figure out your vision, figure out your values, figure out your mission statement, and then post them somewhere, and then you're supposed to check yourself on it, and that never happens. Like we might go through the stage and get those 3 things done. We might post them somewhere we can see, but we kind of don't measure anything else against them. And so what this is talking about is like, what if we actually aligned with them and made sure that our actions are going along the way with those are going. And we talked about that a lot today. It's like, okay, it's easier said than done for sure. I think there has to be a better goal setting process for most people. I think that they also need to have more planning in place. I think the obstacle for most entrepreneurs is they don't spend enough time planning. So you need to spend more time each quarter putting a plan together, as well as yearly putting a plan together to achieve the things that you want to achieve by the end of the year. I don't think an annual plan is always like the best solution. I think an annual plan is kind of like, I think of an annual plan as a guiding tool. Like here's kind of what I want to do during the year, but it's not like, hey, at the end of the year, I want to get 100 new clients. I think that's kind of like uncontrollable. I would say that's a lagging metric. And so it's uncontrollable. I think the things you need to do during the year are really going to be actionable steps to get there. So the annual plan itself is a big picture overview. Like these are the things I would like to accomplish. Here's the areas I want to improve, but maybe not exactly putting down what you're going to do in those areas because the year changes so much. Then quarterly, you take the quarterly assessments and you go through in each quarter. This is the thing based on my annual plan I want to improve. Let's say it's our marketing. I want to improve our marketing. And so because of that, I'm going to really attack what that looks like in quarter 1. And maybe quarter 1 is just like I want to get really good at following the marketing calendar. Quarter 2 is I want to implement Facebook ads. Quarter 3 is I want to do more personal outreach. And quarter 4 is we're going to do a direct mailer this quarter. So those all are things that can move the needle towards the lagging metric. But like you're really doing lead indicator things. And so we talked about that a lot today from this is like the plan that we put in place needs to be executed better, but it also needs to be designed better, and it needs to be designed around these purposes. And so it's just like pulling back your life. I'm working with a friend right now on his priority tracking and how to get better at the things he's supposed to be doing for personal priorities, business and himself, right? And so as we're going through this process, it's like all these ideas an entrepreneur we get so many ideas, and he's got like this list of ideas, and it's like new ideas pop in his mind all the time. And it's like he's trying to like put these into play. How do I like get this done and this done and this done? Because these new ideas, and it's like, well, a lot of those things are just distractions. And if we have our vision, our purpose, all that stuff kind of laid out and our values laid out, we're like, okay, I'm gonna like, does this new idea, does it serve any of those things? And if it does, great. That can probably go on an idea list that can then be planned out when the right time is to plan it, but it shouldn't probably just be thrown in the moment. And I think we need to get better at being able to do that. I think it would add a lot less stress for business owners. I think it would add just more clarity on where you're going, the direction you're going, so you can really focus on the things you're supposed to focus throughout the year. So that's a big thing in our mastermind program that I focus on, is how to help you pick what are the annual things that you want to focus on, like the different parts of your life you want to focus on this year. And then each quarter we attack what's the lowest hanging fruit, the thing that you're not doing the best, and move that up each month, and we're going to stick on that plan. It's like, okay, just because in the middle of the year something changes doesn't change your annual plan. You just need to make adjustments to the actual actions you might be taking. But outside of that, your annual plan kind of stays the same, meaning like this is the thing I'm going to focus on. So that's kind of the clarify question. I think that's a really good one. I think it's something we need to spend a lot more time doing. I talk about clarity breaks. I talk about your planning, those kind of things. I think those need to be in consistently quarterly. I think monthly, I spend at least an hour, probably 2 hours a month at the end of the month getting the next month ready to go. Those ideas, I spend at least 4 hours in a clarity break a month. And then quarterly, I spend probably 3 hours getting the quarter ready to go, honestly. Then yearly, I spend 8 to 10 hours. It might be more depending on what the main goals are, but I've kind of simplified all those processes to make it so I can be more clear. Sometimes I used to make them so complex. Now I'm trying to make them easier and easier how to get those clarity things down. So that way, at the end of the year, I can make these are the most important things to move forward next year. Dare. Question number 2. What are some areas in your life where you've been holding back due to fear of uncertainty? What's one small step you can take today to push past your comfort zone and pursue what truly matters to you? How can you cultivate a mindset of daring and resilience in the face of challenges or setbacks? So each of us had different ones that every person has their different challenges and setbacks. I'm going to say one that's one of my hardest things to do is reach out to personal contacts of mine and talk about my business and talk about the things we do. I don't know. It feels like for me, it's always been an issue is like, I don't want rejection from them. I have relationships with them and I want them to think that I would never impose on their relationship. But I also know that my product's really good and what we do is really good. And these people that I know could utilize what we're doing. So it's kind of like this area, a dichotomy there for me. And I need to get stronger at being okay with offering these to my client, to my friends and people that I have relationships with and do that. And also an area for me that's been really hard to do. You think it'd be for most people easy to do because you have a relationship, but it's been really hard because that rejection from somebody personal affects me. And I don't know why it does. Somebody that I don't know, it doesn't affect me at all. And then each person in the groups had different things. And I'm just kind of go through what they kind of had is another one was how their clients react to things. So getting better with daring to be more uncomfortable with doing things that clients might not enjoy or reject in your business, meaning like things that might raise prices, to offer things that aren't directly related to that client, and not all the clients will love that's in the facility because it's takes maybe time away from them, but it might be better for your business overall where you're going. Another client or another person on the book club was talking about how it's just there's certain things in his life, that business life, that are just it's like meetings with coaches and stuff like that it's like it's uncomfortable. They're not the most fun things to go through, but and the time spent on those coaches isn't always as valuable because they leave in a couple of years. And it's just like trying to get that idea is like the rejection, not the rejection technically of that, but the wasted time of that, and the fact that these coaches might not pan out is a wasted time. And so that's something that affected them as well. The question of what's one small step you can take today to push past your comfort zone and pursue what truly matters. For me, I'm just going to go back to mine on these. So for me, it's like, okay, I got to be willing to reach out 2 times a week to different people and be able to offer, just start conversations. That's the part that's helps me get past the thing. Is first, just reaching out to a friend and just seeing how they've been doing. It's been, a couple months, couple years since we talked, reaching out and seeing how they're doing. That initially gives me that relationship building thing again, and not be instantly, hey, we offer websites, we offer a mastermind program, or these kind of services, right? Going in with the idea that I just want to connect with this person again and create a connection. And then as we're going through these conversations, I bring up, hey, what are you doing now? I can bring up what I do and see if it fits them. And I think I've just got to be okay with the fact that some point down the road, I have to let them know what I do, but just start off with a conversation. I think the other weird rejection thing that I struggle with is when somebody doesn't respond, period, right? Not even from the beginning, you send them out something they don't. And I'd be okay with the fact that people are busy and they might have forgot about it, might have looked at a text or something and didn't come back to it. So I need to get better at the idea that that's not a personal offense to me. It's just this person might be busy, reach out again in a month or 2. So my actionable step is I want to reach out to 2 people a week, and my direct circle of people and friends, and start to create relationships again, build those relationships. And then when the right time comes, put the offer out, just saying, hey, we do this now. Is this something I can help you with? The last question was, how do you cultivate a mindset of daring and resilience? So it's hard, especially like we get so many comfortable things we do in our business, especially me now doing a lot of online stuff. A lot of comfortable things I do in my business, and I need to get better at finding ways to get more resilience on the things that are uncomfortable. So I think sales is easy. It's not the sales part, it's the marketing side of things that I'm continuing to get more uncomfortable with, like doing these videos. Like this is not my comfort zone by any means, but it's something I need to get content out there. I need to start showing people what we do. And so now it's just like I have Tuesdays or content day, and I spend a lot of time during the day, all Tuesdays doing content. And that's helped me build habits. So the biggest thing I think to create these like cultivate a mindset of daring and resilience is like, I think it's just creating habits. Like every time you have a setback, create a habit in place and then just follow through with that habit. Question number three, uncommit. What are some commitments or obligations in your life that no longer align with your priorities or values? How can you gracefully and respectfully disengage from these commitments to free up time and energy for what truly matters? What criteria can you use to evaluate whether a commitment is worth your time and resources? So this is something I think I've done really, really well in my life. Especially over the last probably 4 years since COVID. I've done a good job of disengaging from things that like I was just doing for the sake of doing them. I thought I was helping somebody out. And now it's like, okay, I'm doing only the things that I really want to do that move my business and my life forward. I think I've just gotten better attention to what I want out of life. And I'm married now. And so I know what me and my wife enjoy. And so here's some like big things that we've had to make choices on is moving away from family. So we moved out to Arizona. We're originally she's from Illinois. I'm from Iowa. I'd moved away from my family for a long time ago. When I was 24, I'm 38. So I'd moved away. I was kind of used to being away from them, but I was still only 7.5 hours away, and I drive back probably every 3 months and see the family. And so that's not easy to do anymore. So I had to give up that. And I have a lot of nephews and nieces. And so because of that, I was giving that component up. In Hearst, we live like maybe 5-8 minutes away from her family. And so we had to give up that. But that was one commitment we had to give up, was we had to spend time with them, but also we didn't have like a perfect relationship with her family either. And so then there was stress that came along with being close to them, that now we've eliminated that stress to be there. So yes, it was a hard thing to do and uncommit to being around them all the time and like having that easy access to our family. But it really paid off. Like our relationships are stronger between me and Erica. Our relationship's stronger. Our relationship's a little bit stronger with her family now that we're a little bit farther away and don't see each other as much. And it's really strong with my family. But it's hard not being able to see them all the time. But that was a big life commitment because me and Erica just wanted to do more things of our own free time, hiking and stuff of that nature. A little bit more of an adventure-driven life is what we were trying to live. And Arizona gave us the ability to do that, especially up here in the mountains. Other things is I've done a great job of like getting myself out of meetings. I used to do a lot of meetings and like I just thought meetings were a good way to build relationships, which they really are. But I think I was just having meetings for the sake of having meetings, and I felt like I was never getting anything done. So now I have very few meetings. If I have if I had like 3 meetings in a week, it feels like it's going to be a bad week. It just means like I just don't have time. I'm not going to get a lot of things done. So I've done a great job of getting out of meetings. I've done a great job of organizing my schedule around what I want to do in my personal life, and that's given me more energy to be able to do the stuff during the workday, and just uncommitting to too many relationships. I want very, very deep relationships, but I don't want 1,000 relationships. I want like 5 to 10 really, really strong relationships so that I don't have to dedicate all this time and energy to somebody that I just won't impact that much. So I want stronger, more intimate relationships. The criteria is going to come down to like really what I've created for my core values in my life, and for my, our family life and stuff of that nature. So it just comes down to like more time together, me and my wife, more focus on the things that matter in our business, which is the mastermind and growing our services program. Trying to stay away from things that aren't profitable, really focus on profit-based products and services. And then just making sure that we really engage with our current clientele and grow their services as much as possible and making it so that they get a better experience with us. That's kind of the focus of what we're trying to do in our business, my personal thing, and just trying to not to commit to anything outside of those. Way easier said than done. I get offered things all the time and I have to kind of sit back and be like, well, that doesn't really align with where the business is going or where my personal life is going, and I don't want to do those. So like an example with that is like with mastermind programs. I could probably offer a lot more mastermind programs than I do, but I know I only want to travel a certain amount of times a year. And so because of that, I only want to be away from my wife for so long. So because of that, like we have to limit the total amount of programs we can offer. It makes us stronger, like more tight-knit group. So we have less people that can be in the mastermind, so we can really focus on them. But also it makes it so I don't have to travel as much. And that's important. That was something I wasn't willing to commit to. Yes, I could get a lot more mastermind members and make more money in the mastermind program. However, it didn't hit all my core values I was looking for. Edit. What if we approached our lives with the mindset of an editor, constantly reviewing and refining our commitments and priorities to ensure that we are investing our time and energy in the most meaningful, impactful ways? This is an area I've always been strong on in my personal life, kind of a minimalist in many ways. And so I'm always editing all the time. Like whenever I see something, like how long ago do we use that? Like, are we ever gonna use that anymore? So I've always been great with it with my personal life. Business life, I've always kind of been the opposite, whereas I've always like tried to do everything. And so since starting Level Up a couple years, 3 years ago now, and I've been like able to really do a good job of editing things in my life that way of like, okay, I know GCP, my former business, it had things too complicated. I try to be everything for everybody. And in this version, I want to be less. I want to be less for everybody. I want to be like, but I want to be really, really, really good at what we do. And I thought we were really, really good at what we do at GCP. But the idea is I want to be like less. I want to have less on my plate. I want to be just really focused on the things I need to do. I want to do deep work more consistently because that makes me happy. I can build stronger and stronger programs. Our SOPs are so much stronger now, and the things we're building for our clients are even more valuable, I believe, because I'm able to do that. So I've done a great job of editing in general. I edit my to-do list like weekly. So at the end of each week, I go through my to-do list and I delete things. I try to really hard to delete things I'll never do. I put a lot on my to-do list of different ideas that pop up, sticky notes, things of that nature. And then I go through at the end of the week, I'm okay, am I ever gonna do this? How much impact will this have on any part of my business? How much does it take away from other things I want to work on? And then like if it's a sticky note, I just throw it away or I put it on my calendar or on my future list. And my future list, I'm always kind of going through that probably weekly and definitely monthly, going through that list and be like, okay, here's an idea I had. When is that going to come to fruition? Is it like a couple years down the road? Is it something that's never going to come to fruition? And I do a good job of really deleting a lot of those things and editing those out. I would say for people that want to be productive, that's a great tool to do is to delete and edit and delete, right? So a lot of people, when they edit, they might just move it to different, longer down the road. But I think for the most part, if you haven't done it in a month or two, you might as well just move on from it. If the idea comes back, great, cool. But if the idea hasn't come up and it's not really a pressing one, it might not be a pressing one ever. So there's no point of like looking at a list all the time and be like, oh man, this is going to be something that's going to come up in the future. I don't want to miss this idea. It's like, well, if it's that important, it should be probably going right pretty soon. So that's something to think about is like editing your list often, and like if an idea is on your list, delete it and see if it comes back again. And if it does, then maybe it's real, and maybe delete it again. And if it comes back a third time, then it's probably something I really need to focus on. The last one's called limit. What if we recognize the power of setting boundaries and saying no to activities, commitments, and relationships that drain our time and energy so we can focus on what truly matters most to us? So that's like the big lesson of the whole section here of eliminate is the fact to just say no more often. It's like the easiest way to edit is just say no in the first place. Especially things on your to-do list, you can do that a little bit easier. So like, that's why I do the sticky note. A lot of times I'll put things on sticky notes first, set them down I'll have a big pile up by the end of the week, and then I'll kind of go through those and like, what was I meaning there? And how valuable is it? That's helped me out a lot, not get a lot of extra stuff on my to-do list, because it's like, okay, like by the end of the week, those ideas really weren't that valuable. So saying no more often, I think meeting-wise, I just don't offer up meetings as much as before. So it helps out. It's like, I don't try to do meetings, especially if it's like somebody that you get so many like sales calls and people like want to like, I can do this for you. I can do that for you. I pretty much do none of those anymore. I don't jump on calls for anything pretty much. I don't answer my phone unless I know who the number is. Just try to eliminate those wasted times in those conversations. To focus on what truly matters. I think that really comes back to that first one, the clarify. Do you really know what truly matters? And that's what I've been really focused on over the last year and a half, really, is making sure that my goals align, my quarterly and annual goals and weekly goals, all that stuff kind of aligns. The priorities I do this week are based on what I set up as a monthly goal. Those monthly goals are like steps towards that quarterly like goal or quarterly like project, and that quarterly thing's leading towards what I set up as an annual thing on the areas I want to focus on, right? And so you set up that annual plan and be able to work your way down. So I think, what truly matters, you gotta first know that. And I think I personally know that pretty well of what truly matters. And then from there, you're gonna make adjustments throughout the year. But can you say no and put boundaries on that? And I do know with some people that I'm working with right now, we've been working on the boundaries part, and it's really, really hard for them because like everything feels like a fire and very few things are fires. Our clients do a great job of making things seem more urgent than they are. And because we react so quickly, it makes it more urgent. But there's a lot of things that could definitely wait, that could wait for a lot longer than you realize, or maybe never even be done at all. And so I think sometimes you have to look at situations in your own business and say, hey, like, what are the fires that I'm creating myself? And maybe there's a process in place that I need to eliminate that won't even create these fires. Or do I just respond later on these? So I think there's a lot of things you can do, say no to. But I think the first, clarify, dare, commit, uncommit, and edit. I think having those things all in place really help you figure out what your limit is. So you get those things in place, and then you'll be able to figure out what your boundaries are. Because when you go through and edit and start deleting things, you're like, okay, like now I know exactly what I'm working towards. And so when I've edited it to get there, I have it clarified, and now I'm going to be able to say no because this is what I'm protecting. So the cool part about this chapter of essentialism is it really stacked on top of each other on work on these different components. And by the end of the, down to the limit thing, you'll know what your limits are so that you know what to be working on. So this book has been awesome. We're on part 3, about part 4 video coming soon after we have a couple weeks and we'll be going through that in our book club. Book clubs, so we don't have a book club we offer. This is the book club I'm part of. But it's one of those things where it's like, if you can find a group of people that want to discuss these kind of things, especially business wise, like in our mastermind group, we discuss books and things of that nature a lot. We don't have like a book club outside of that, but finding people to communicate with, talk to, like I said, this chapter wasn't the most exciting one for me. I kind of read through it and I kind of zoned out a little bit during it because there's a lot of things that I already knew. But then when I got on a call with the guys, it's like, okay, this is like more impactful. The calls are so powerful to be able to talk to people through them. So I think there's just a value in that. So if you're ever looking for something like that, make sure you guys find yourself a book club, some just local people that you want to read books with. It doesn't even have to be business, just like different things to talk about. It allows you to get deeper into that book. So if you guys are interested, if you're a male entrepreneur and you're interested in joining a program that focuses on helping you with your accountability throughout the year, making it so your annual goals are planned out. Now, again, we don't go into deep planning. It's more like a overview. Here's the things you want to attack this year. And then the quarterly things where we really dive in. Okay, this quarter, you're going to focus on this thing. Then you go into your weekly priorities. So we really help you be able to figure that process out. So at the end of the year, you're like, okay, man, I moved my life forward in one of these 10 domains throughout the year, and I'm making progress in my life overall. So if you're interested in that, you're a male entrepreneur, DM us or message us, however you can get a hold of us. Go to our website, brotherhoodbeyondbusiness.com, and you can find any information you need about us and get a hold of us. All right, guys, have a great day.